Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into the nitty gritty. I've not said that in a while. Video number 1 of 2 for today, and tomorrow make sure you keep your eyes peeled on Younes Talks Football because we have the preview for Bournemouth versus Chelsea. That's going to be a key preview, and I didn't think it would be because we're playing Bournemouth away, but this is the situation we're in. We're still 12th, and I'm going to give some very key opinions and what I think needs to happen to win that game. That's tomorrow, so make sure you are subscribed over here to catch that and hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Don't forget video number 2 later on today as we round up more of the news, because today's more about opinion. Today's more about of a talking point rather than the actual news. The news will come later tonight, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Follow the socials, they are on screen for you right now and in the description. Much appreciated. Let's start off with this Ben Chilwell at left wing saga. I can't ignore it. It needs its own video. I was thinking, and I did allude to you guys that I will talk about it in the preview, and I think I will tactically because I'm going to give you my starting 11 and what I think should happen, but this needs its own video. If not, the preview is going to be half an hour long, and I'm not going to do that to you guys. It's good that we have constant content on here, but we don't want to make sure we're giving you guys 15, 35, 40-minute videos like we had to in the transfer window at one point. That was pretty crazy enough. Ben Chilwell at left wing. Now, Poch done an exclusive interview with Chelsea. So it's on the Chelsea YouTube channel. It's on the Fifth Stand app. It's basically with Chelsea, right? Chelsea TV, as it used to be called, right? The same staff, I'm pretty sure. But Chelsea's in-house media team done an interview with Pochettino. And he went into detail about Ben Chilwell. And where does he play? What does he do? How is he being used? Let's check that out first. And then we're going to get into what I think. And what I think most of you think. So, let's get into it. Here's what Poch had to say. Poch on Chilwell. We need to find solutions with different players playing in different positions to try to get the best balance. Ben is a fullback who can help the team in a different position. Goes on to say, in 4 games he has created more chances than any player. In the national team last week, Ben played in a similar position. You know what this screams? This screams one thing. This screams that Ben Chilwell is playing as a left winger on Sunday. I can't help but think and know that this is going to be the case. And this is also part of the reason why I'm doing the video now. Why wait for the preview? Screw it. We're going to start talking this now because we know what's going to come on Sunday. It's pretty evident. We're going to get Chilwell at left wing. Now, I want to allude to the options before we get into the tactics. I think that's fair, right? So let's get into what do Chelsea have available in the team that gives Poch the incentive that he feels forced to play Chilwell more as a left winger rather than a left back, right? Let's get into it. Here it is. Mauricio Pochettino alluded to playing Ben Chilwell on the wing due to injuries, etc. In our wide areas, we have Sterling, Madueke and Mudryk. And for the central areas, we have Fernandes, Caicedo, Gallagher, Ugochukwu and now Cole Palmer, who can also drift wide. Is there any need to continue Chile at left wing at this stage? That is an opinion by Chelsea Dodgers. Great page on X, by the way, so do check that. Do check Chelsea Dodgers out. But I read that and I thought I completely agree. We aren't stripped of options to the point where we have to play Chilwell at left wing. Now, I want to go back to why I know and why we all know Poch is doing it. Right? Which I'm not against in terms of a system, but I think it's overcomplicated for what Chelsea need to do right now and the stage that we're at in terms of the squad that we have and the new manager and the levels that we're at the moment. I feel it's just asking too much. He's trying to play a hybrid system of 3 centre-backs, right? 2 wing-backs that are basically going in as wingers and the defence can shift over. So when we move forward, that 5 becomes a 4 and Ben Chilwell becomes a winger and Levi Colwill shifts over as a left-back and we have the other 2 central defenders that are actual central defenders and the person that's on the right is tucking in as a right-back. And then you can shift that across by having the same thing with Malo Gusto, for example, going forward and Ben Chilwell coming back as the left-back. I understand this shift of the back 5 where one becomes a midfielder. Right? I say midfielder in terms of what stage of the pitch they're actually at, but becomes a winger, right? I get it. And then that's on the offensive. Defensive, they come back and then you make a 5. And we understand what's going on. We understand the hybrid system, right? And some teams execute it perfectly. I think there's one key reason why this isn't working. And funnily enough, it's not because Chilwell can't attack. I think Chilwell can attack. I think there is a slight misconception in the fan base where people think, oh no, Chilwell's left winger just can't work because he can't play left wing. It's not that. Because you have to remember, as a fullback, if we're trying to ask Chilwell to play as a left back, just a normal left back in a back 4, right? The left back bombs forward. The right back bombs forward. Sometimes they go on the overlap, right? But they are left backs and right backs. They come back and they're defenders. As a winger, you aren't required to come back to come all the way back to the left back position or the right back position and become a defender. That's not your job. The thing with Ben Chilwell going forward, he's going to have to go forward anyway, even as a left back. And he's going to have to bomb and, provide crosses and all that. But he doesn't go so far forward to the point where he's at the byline, right? He's where the goal is. And he's basically either, at this point, a left wing forward, or some would even say a flipping striker. You're in the box. Like, left backs don't do that. You don't go that far. The only reason to go forward is to provide yourself as an option to cross the ball in. Much like an Ashley Cole used to do, or much like we see every other left back and right back go. They get to the latter stage, they get to the final third. They are there as an option in order to either cut in and provide or cross the ball. And as soon as that ball is crossed, you're running back. You're analysing the situation. You track a little back, and you see: am I needed? Is the ball still in an offensive part? Or are we about to lose the ball? Or have we just lost a chance? At this point, I'm running back and I'm getting back in my position. I'm now a defender. When Ben Chilwell is a winger in this hybrid system and Levi Colwill tucks over to become a left back, the problem with Chilwell isn't that he's far forward. The problem is, well, you could say it is because he's so far forward, but it's not just because he's gone forward. That's not the problem. It's the fact that he can't get back in time. He now has to run so much and he has to compensate for the fact that he's so far forward by having to run all the way back and get himself back in position and then do that over and over and over again. It's too much. He can't do it. So what do we find ourselves happening? We find ourselves in a situation where Levi Colwill is now the left back. We get hit on the transition. Levi Colwill is no longer a central defender. Now he's a left back. And then we get hit on a counter-attack or we get bodies coming at us and Levi Colwill's having to operate as a left-back, which I don't think he can do. That's not his job. He's not meant to be a left-back. He's not a left-back. He's a central defender. Ben Chilwell's meant to be there. So do you see where sometimes we get caught on transition? Ben Chilwell is completely up the pitch. He's not defending anymore. Or he doesn't make it back in time and he's caught out already. But that is already one player eliminated. Now you're having to deal with a back 4 of Gusto, Disasi, Silva and Colwill. And they know that our left-hand side is now exposed. Oppositions will now use that left-hand side or their right-hand side in order to move the ball, get an extra man forward, use the space, get runners in, and create havoc. Or someone that's technical enough can compensate on the panic that there is because now Colwell's having to probably think he's doing double duty, or like a traditional left-back is meant to do, he can't do. And we're having to rely on the striker coming up against Thiago Silva and Disasi, which, as proven in past games, hasn't been that much of an issue for where we have conceded. So this is the problem. Whereas if we have Chilwell just as a standard left-back, he's there. And then we have Colwill and Silva or Disasi or whatever's going on there. And don't forget, if we're talking about defensive duties, we're not just meant to be having the back 4 do all the work. We're meant to have someone in midfield as well tucking over and making sure they're helping out defensively, of course. So this is where I believe we are exposing ourselves defensively by having Chilwell bomb so far forward. He needs to be back in his position. And this is where I feel it's not working. So what's going to happen on Sunday? I still get the vibe that we're going to see the same thing. Now, I've explained where I think it's going wrong. Why don't we put Chilwell at left wing, at left back? Bloody hell! It's been implanted in my brain now. That's how. Look, I've even got myself saying it. No, not at left wing, as a left back, And we use the wingers we have. Why can't we use the wingers we have? And then Chilwell wants to bomb forward in order to go on the overlap or combine. Absolutely. He is a left back. He's meant to do that. But your prime position and your prime job is to make sure you're back defending. Let the wingers wing. We have, like it said, Sterling, Mudryk and Madueke. If Mudryk isn't up to it, what's stopping Sterling playing on the left-hand side? He's on form. And then Madueke on the right-hand side. Let him cook. Let him get on with it, because Madueke's not been bad. Let's be real here. He's not been extravagant, but he's not been bad. Sterling's been on form, so you know what? Switch him over if we have to. Or, I'd like to think Mudryk maybe gets game time. Let's see. Let's see what Mudryk's made of. And there is a risk of that because, like I've said, and I have to give a little bit of a compensation here to Pochettino. If Mudryk is performing in training the same way we're seeing him on a match day, I can understand why he's not getting picked. But the rumour mill and people on the inside seem to think that Mudryk is actually training really, really well. If he is, then what are we doing? Let's see. Play him. I'd like to think against a Bournemouth, Mudryk should be able to play well. And if he doesn't, well, we have our answer. Do you know what I mean? That could come at the cost of 3 points, understandably, but that's down to Poch. But what I'm saying is, it's not just a Mudryk debate here. This isn't a Mudryk debate. It's about playing wingers as wingers. That's it. We've got the options. And we've got the options centrally. And we even have Cole Palmer. So if we're looking to think we can't play Madueke either, well, cool, stick Cole Palmer on the right-hand side because he's played there before. And he can tuck in and have someone on the overlap like a Malo Gusto. We've got enough balance, I feel, in order to play with Sterling on the left-hand side if we have to, and have Chilwell back as a left-back. I don't see the reason why we have to have Chilwell going all the way forward and then leaving ourselves defensively exposed, because that's what's happening, I feel. So yeah, look, we're going to see on Sunday what happens, and I'm not going to be happy if it gets to it where we are having to play Chilwell at left wing. Let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated, and yeah, we'll see how far this goes. But the preview for that game will be tomorrow, so make sure you're here for that. But I do not want to see another Chilwell at left wing, because if I do, we're just going to expect the same result. And God forbid we get the same result. We can't lose tomorrow, on Sunday, sorry. We can't lose. I'm already in preview mode. I've got myself thinking we're playing tomorrow. We cannot lose this game against Bournemouth. We can't. We can't dip further than 12th. Even though it's this early in the season, but now you set the precedent early and then you build the consistency. The games that we've got coming up until the 21st of October should be all winnable. And then from the 21st, we've got Arsenal, we've got Tottenham, if I'm not mistaken, we've got Man United, we've got Man City, or we've got Liverpool, but we've got big games, yeah? Those ones, you expect to drop some points, unfortunately. But the games leading up to that, we don't compensate. We get into the big games, and we do rubbish in those. We are screwed. This is why there's urgency now. We have to win. So we have to give ourselves the best chance of winning. And that comes by playing our best system and our best formation. And talking about system, this hybrid, I think it's too early to implement. I understand what Poch wants to do, but it's too early. We are overcomplicating ourselves, where we need to go back to basics here. We need to go back to a simple way, because we have enough talent in the team to be able to do things simple. Against teams like Bournemouth, we should be able to play in a simple way. Simple. Keep it simple. Get the players understanding a simple way. Once they've executed that, then bring it up a notch and let's get to the next level. And Manchester City can play in a hybrid system easily, not a problem, because they've been building on that. You can't just do it overnight. But it's going to come at a cost of points and wins, and finding ourselves not having to get to a Champions League spot if we continue to overcomplicate and we keep losing points every single flipping week. We can't do that. So let's bring it back to basics, and over a period of time, we can maybe implement the hybrid by something to end the season with, not something we do now. Let's start off simple. So let me know your thoughts down below. Now, the way that the club are thinking seems to be in this direction. Let's get into it. Over the summer window, according to one well-placed source, Chelsea's ownership were continuously thinking about what a 100-point team looks like and putting together the right players who will make that 100-point team. I have to be honest, this isn't the way to think. I don't think it's the right way to think. I understand it, but I don't think it's the right way to think. You're biting off too much than you can chew, if you know what I mean. Much more than you can chew. You're trying to run before you walk. It's to be able to win a title, get a title winning team, you need to think about winning the title first, not having X amount of points. That's no. You need to be able to get players that you think are going to give you a chance to just compete with the best and maybe pip them. But that's not to say, okay, no, we need to get, this team's going to get 100 points, because no. That's not how it works. Do you know how difficult it is to get 100 points? Name me the amount of teams that have got 100 points in the Premier League. How many times has it been done? You can't be. Look, we finished 12th. You can't be thinking unrealistic goals. We need to get ourselves to a level where we are competing in the Champions League. We are competing with a Man City, maybe finding ourselves in a title race. Now, it's not to say don't aim to win the title. Absolutely. But you need to get players that are going to get your team up to their levels first. Once you find yourselves close to that level, you can start thinking about going to 100 points. But don't bite off too much before, what's the saying? Chelsea have got me losing my words. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Basically, that is the saying. And I feel like this is the wrong way to go about it. Because that's going to take a very long time. 100 points will take a long time. That's not going to be done this season. Let's be real, it's not going to be done next season. Unless a flipping miracle happens. But you can build a team that's going to win you the title by next season. You can. It's been done, and we've done it before. But we found ourselves getting 95 points, getting 93 points when we won the titles under Mourinho and under Antonio Conte. The 14-15 season, if I'm not mistaken, we got, was it 92? I forgot how many points we got that season, but it wasn't 95. That's the highest we've ever gone, and that was in 2004, 2005. So to all of a sudden just go, okay, now that player's going to get us 100 points. That player's going to get us 100 points. No, what player's going to get you to the point where you're competing for the title, and then you build on them. So I hope we're not looking at things completely wrong here. I really hope not. The ownership, I have to say, they still to an extent worry me a bit. I'd like to think the recruitment team and people that are in place are trustworthy now compared to the business we were doing last season. But the ownership still worry me a little bit. So let's see. Now, this same article has us talking about this. There are serious plans for Chelsea to acquire a minority stake in Sporting. I mean, what do I think on this, man? It's not the time. We got Strasbourg. Yeah, look, if we're going to get majority stakes somewhere else, cool. But to be thinking about minority stakes and doing all of that, I mean, yeah, great, but not now. Like, we've got bigger things to think about right now in terms of actually getting Chelsea sorted. We've got Strasbourg, and that's worked for us pretty nicely, fantastic. But a minority stake, that comes later. We don't need to think about that. So let's see how that's going to run down. Let me know your thoughts on a minority stake in terms of Chelsea Football Club getting a piece of the pie over at Sporting Lisbon. Let me know your thoughts. Injuries. We'll get into the preview of to discuss all this as well, but here's the latest. No Broja, Lavia or Badiashile in training. The schedule here from the Chelsea website seems to state Badiashile, Bettinelli, Broja, Chalobah, Chukwuemeka, Fofana, Reece James and Nkunku, as well as Romeo Lavia, are all out. That's a big injury list. It's a big injury list, and it just goes to show something at Chelsea's not right. It's just not right. It's just not right, man. You can't be having all this like at the same time again. Like, it's just crazy. Understandably, though, 3 of those players that I've mentioned, so Badiashile, Broja, and Chalobah, perhaps? No, Chalobah's still going his rehab. Broja and Badiashile have joined full team training, but the rest are all still going through their rehabilitation. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let me know your thoughts. And to wrap up, Man United news. Breaking: Jadon Sancho's previous club, Borussia Dortmund, and Nottingham Forest, managed by Sancho's England under-17s coach Steve Cooper, have been identified as possible options. Sancho is believed to be reluctant to move to Saudi Arabia as he is only 23. So we're going to see this happen. At some point, January, beyond that, I think just Sancho at Man United is over. I don't see a resolution happening there unless one party apologises, and right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I truly think Sancho will end up moving on, but those are 2 options. Imagine Sancho at Nottingham Forest, though. That could actually be interesting, Hudson-Odoi and Sancho. Let me know what you think. But could he be heading back to Dortmund, where it was working for him? That's also a big option, and I think the most viable option. European football and all of that, maybe that is the way to go. So, big wages. Big salary, young, yeah, maybe. Bit of compensation happening there on Sancho's part. Could see him move back to Dortmund. And as I've said, I think that will be a good move for him, if I'm being completely honest. As I've said, though, I think his time at Man United is over. Do you think his time at Man United is over? Let me know in the comments. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2. So make sure you guys are here for that. And to make sure that you are here for that, you have to make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button. So make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Hit notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. On top of that, check out all the socials. They are on screen. And to remind you, predictions. Preview for this whole Premier League weekend, including Chelsea. You're going to get a little sneak peek of what myself and George Benson, GBFC, have to say about Chelsea's trip to Bournemouth. Make sure you are checking the Premier League predictions for this match day coming out later today. So this afternoon, that video will be out on Shootout. Link in the description. Go and subscribe to Shootout. Now, if you haven't done so already, keep your eyes peeled for that prediction and preview video that will be dropping later on today. So make sure you're there for that. Much appreciated. And I'll see you on here later on tonight too for video number 2. I'll see you then. Have a good one, people. See you lot later. Take care and peace.